Tomatoes and aging. What's the real benefit? What if one simple habit in the kitchen is capable of slowing down cell aging? And this habit costs 0 rubles. Most people don't use it. Snow snorts because they don't know about tomatoes, and because they don't know this one thing nuance. Tomato is one of the most studied products in the world. Hundreds have been written about it. Scientific papers. It is eaten all over the world, and while most people get from him at 2.5, or even at 4 times less useful than they could be. Today I will tell you what the difference is. What exactly happens to a tomato when you cook it? Why is it Italian pasta with tomato sauce works for you? The body is better than a fresh tomato with beds. And what substance is inside a tomato? Scientists call it one of the most powerful natural cell protectors from premature aging. But first, lycopene and cell protection. One question. Have you ever noticed that the peoples who traditionally cook tomatoes, stew, fry, make sauces, on average, those who eat them live longer, mostly fresh? Greece, Italy, Spain is one of the countries with the lowest cardiovascular indicators diseases in Europe. Coincidence? For the answer to this question needs to be sorted out with what exactly makes a tomato a tomato. The tomato is red, and this color gives it a substance called lycopene, and this is the main topic of today's conversation. Lycopene is a carotenoid, natural pigment that tomato produces to protect itself from solar radiation, a kind of internal shield. And here's what's interesting. When we eat a tomato, this shield starts work for us already. Every second and thousands of processes occur in our body chemical reactions. Byproduct, these reactions are the so-called free radicals, are unstable molecules, which literally attack healthy cells, damage their membrane, interfere with the functioning of DNA. It is this, the process is at the core of what we do. We call it cellular aging, a gradual process, wear and tear of tissues from the inside. Lycopene is one of the most powerful natural neutralizers free radicals that we known for. Their antioxidant activity, it is approximately 100 times more powerful than vitamin E once. This is not an exaggeration. Such data obtained in laboratory studies. Antioxidants and slowing down age-related changes, but antioxidant action is only beginning. Research shows that sufficient level of lycopene in the blood associated with a reduced risk cardiovascular diseases. The mechanism here is clear. Lycopene helps reduce oxidation, so-called bad cholesterol, which deposited on the walls of blood vessels. Less oxidation, less plaque, less stress on the heart. There is something else. Research direction. Lycopene is being studied as a substance capable of maintain prostate health in men and reduce the risks associated with some oncological processes. I'm talking it's about reducing risks, not about treatment. This is an important distinction. No product replaces medical care, but to help the body to hold the defense. It is in our forces. It would seem that if you want Lycopene, eat it. Tomatoes. It makes sense. But it turns out, meanwhile, how much lycopene contained in a tomato and how much of it your body will really absorb it's huge difference. A fresh tomato from the garden is great, but your intestines are from this. You won't get any fresh tomato at all as much as you expect. So, there is lycopene in every tomato, but there is such a concept as bioavailability. Snorts, that's what proportion of the substance the body actually absorbs from what you ate. So, the bioavailability of fresh tomatoes, lycopene, is low. We are used to thinking that fresh means alive, means better. After all, it contains vitamins. Are destroyed by heating. This is true, we all know this. That's why it seems natural, the less processing, the benefits for the heart and blood vessels more benefit. But with lycopene, everything works smoothly, vice versa. And this is not an exception to the rule, but a separate and very important pattern. Here's the thing. In a fresh tomato, the molecules lycopene is found inside the cell's walls. These walls are quite strong, structure. While the tomato is raw, the cell walls, they hold their shape and the lycopene is sort of locked in inside. The gastrointestinal tract can extract only a part. The majority passes in transit and is taken out before it reaches into the bloodstream. Now imagine that you heated tomato. Then the cell walls are destroyed, lycopene is released, it becomes available for assimilation. But that's not it yet. That's it. There's a second factor, lycopene, fat-soluble substance. This means that the intestines need it for its absorption fats. Without fats, even released lycopene is poorly absorbed by the body. Just can't catch it and send into the blood without a fat carrier. This is why fresh tomato is good, but boiled or stewed tomato with the addition, oils are a completely different story. Scientists conducted direct comparative studies measurements of how much lycopene is absorbed from fresh tomato and how much of it is from a tomato cooked with butter. Result turned out to be very specific, in 2 seconds 4 times more. For example, tomato paste prepared without extra additives. This is concentrated source of lycopene, one of the best which exists. In 2 dining room spoons of high-quality tomato paste, more lycopene than 2 fresh medium-sized tomatoes. But wait, we haven't gotten to the main thing yet. Skin, sun protection, and inflammation, so we've got the main thing out of the way. Mechanism. Now for the specifics. What exactly, how to cook, what to combine it with, and how fit this into a normal day without any extra efforts. I'll start with the surprise that I promised. There are products that enhance the effects of lycopene are not simply combined with him, but literally raise him efficiency within the body. First of which is garlic. Garlic contains a substance called allicin. It is formed at the moment when you press or chop the garlic, and it is this that has its own powerful antioxidant action. When allicin and lycopene act together, their combined effect turns out to be higher than each one separately. Tomato, oil, garlic, three components that have been lying around for thousands of years at the heart of Mediterranean cuisine. Now you know why it's not just delicious but also reasonable from the point of view that happens in your body. The second, the booster, is turmeric. Its main active substance, curcumin, also has anti-inflammatory properties. A pinch of turmeric in tomato sauce is a small addition that many the peoples of South Asia use it intuitively for hundreds of years. Third, bow. When cooked, onions release quercetin, another antioxidant. Onions and tomatoes together in a frying pan. This is not just a base for frying. That's quite a meaningful combination. Now, simple options that are easy cook at home. The first option is tomato sauce. Take fresh tomatoes, simmer them fresh or cooked, which is better. Olive or sunflower oil, 15 to 20 minutes, add garlic and onion. That's it. This sauce can be eaten with buckwheat, rice, potatoes, spread on bread. Prepares quickly and is stored in the refrigerator for several days. Second option, tomato paste in hot dishes. Snort soup, stewed vegetables, beans. Add 1 or 2 tablespoons tomato paste during cooking together with a little oil. The pasta was heat treated in production. Lycopene is already released in it. Oil will finish the rest. The third option is baked tomatoes. Cut the tomatoes in half, pour with oil, put in oven for 20-25 minutes at a temperature of 180 degrees. You can add garlic and herbs. This is a side dish and a separate dish. The fourth option is for those who are not at all wants to cook. Tomato juice. Glass high-quality tomato juice is already thermally processed product. Lycopene, it is more accessible than in fresh tomatoes. The only condition: don't drink it separately but together with food in which there are fats. For example, at lunch, then the assimilation will be much better. Now about cleanliness. How many times a week is it necessary? There are cooked tomatoes to do this actually affected the level of lycopene in blood. Research shows that the lycopene levels in the blood begin to rise noticeably with regular use from 3 to 4 times a week. Not every day, not in huge quantities, 3 to 4 times a week. A serving of stewed tomatoes or tomato sauce with oil. How to eat tomatoes properly. This is enough to support stable level of this substance in body. An important clarification for those taking blood pressure medication or blood thinners, blood preparations. Tomatoes in moderation safe, but if you eat tomato products in very large quantities every day, it makes sense to be careful. Another point that often comes up, they ask, what about in winter? In winter there are no fresh tomatoes or they are expensive and tasteless. The answer is simple. In winter, tomato paste and canned tomatoes, your best allies are in your own juice. Canning does not destroy lycopene, but in some cases it even increases its concentration due to boiling. So winter tomato soup with a spoonful of butter, a full-fledged replacement. It would seem that all. But remember, at the very beginning I asked about Greeks, Italians, and Spaniards about that. Why do they live longer? So, let's gather everything we already know. Lycopene is a powerful antioxidant. Cooked tomato with oil is absorbed 2 times better than from fresh. Snorts 3 or 4 times a week is enough. Garlic and onions enhance the effect. In winter, pastes and canned food. How much is needed for the effect? All clear, we can go cook. But wait, I haven't told you the most yet, the main thing. We talked about lycopene neutralizes free radicals in the blood. It's true. But scientists have discovered something else. More. And now this is for real interesting. Lycopene is able to penetrate inside the cell nucleus, where DNA is stored, and defend it directly there. Let me explain it simply. As we age, each of us has a different DNA. Minor damage accumulates. This is its normal. This happens to everyone. The body knows how to repair them, but after 60, this repair is slowing down. Damage accumulates faster than are being corrected. This is what aging is. Cells at the deepest level. Lycopene helps slow down this process from the outside but from the inside of the cell. That's why researchers studying longevity in Mediterranean countries again and again discover the same thing. In the elderly people in Italy, Greece and Spain, consistently high levels of lycopene in contraindications and precautions blood, and a diet in which tomatoes with oil are present almost daily. Remember the question from the beginning? Video? Is it a coincidence that the peoples who have been preparing tomatoes with oil for centuries live longer? I think that's the answer now. Obvious. Let me tell you one last thing. I consider it the main thing. Everything we talked about today is not diet, snorts, not a course of treatment. It's just a small change in that. How do you cook food that you already eat? Every day. You've eaten tomatoes before, it's just that now you know. Simmer them with a spoonful of butter, and your body will receive several times more. Snorts, add garlic and onion, and the effect will be even stronger. In winter, take pasta or canned food. That's it. The whole change is almost imperceptible. But if you do this 3 or 4 times a week for months and years, the level of lycopene in the blood changes, and along with it and how yours work cells. A mindful attitude towards food changes the very habit of eating. The main mistake when you start thinking about one product, you start thinking about everything else too. Snorts. This is perhaps the most important thing: behavioral effect. Taking care of yourself requires attention. If was this video helpful for you? Please share it. Them with someone who can also, it will come in handy. Thanks for watching. Watch the video to the end. I also want to say thank you for your likes and comments. I really appreciate it. Nice. Take care, dear friends. Good health to you.